Why so downcast, Billy Ballard?
Well, Miss Crosscheck, because I'm not cast at all. People believe votes for grassroots candidates with less money and name recognition are just a waste.
Well, that shouldn't matter if vote totals could be verified.
Then everyone can vote for who they truly want, because there's one thing more powerful than money, and that's people.
Why is it that known issues with voting machines have gone unaddressed for over 20 years?
Why have some states outlawed the people's ability to audit their own elections?
And how can Congress have a disapproval rate of over 80% with a re-election rate of over 90%?
Smells fishy. I sure wish there was a way to rescue castaway ballots like me.
There is, Billy. CrosscheckUSA.com, where everyone can lawfully declare their vote, see it counted, and cross-checked against the official results of any election, initiative, and referendum, no matter what party. They say trust the system, but we shouldn't have to trust.
We should know.
Go to CrosscheckUSA to verify your vote.
Hello, everyone. This is Christina with Crosscheck USA doing Cross-Check Your Candidate with Kim Yeater. Hey, Kim, how you doing?
Hey, I love this music. I am so excited about your show, Kat.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate you being the first co-host on Cross-Check Your Candidate, where we talk about the granular issues. We bring in candidates who are real people who want to do the will of the people. We haven't had that forever. And now it's time that we, the people, stand up. What do you say about that, Kim?
Yes, I am all in. It's time to give power back to we, the people, and it starts by standing up. So let's go, Kat.
Let's go. Okay, I'm going to bring Carol Peffley on, and I'm bringing David Serpa on, and I'm going to go ahead and play that music as we're bringing him on. We're keeping this my vibe, okay? So I'm loving all of the amazing people that are out there and that are standing up for we the people. Carol Peffley with the District 28 running for state assembly in the Santa Cruz area. Carol, introduce yourself. Give us about 30 seconds of who you are and where you're from.
My name is Carol Peffley, and I'm running for California State Assembly District 28, which is really in the heart of the belly of the beast here in Silicon Valley. It runs through Morgan Hill, up through San Jose, through all the major high-tech cities, and down through Santa Cruz. This is an extremely liberal district that has not been won by a Republican for over 25 years. There's only a 17% Republican voter registration rate here. So it will be an absolute miracle, and I believe in miracles, if I can pull this off and actually win this seat.
Let's go. Let's go. I love it. Thank you for standing up. And David, we've got you, David Serpa, running for California governor. How you doing, David? Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us where you're from?
It's good to see you, Kat. Good to see you again, Kim. Hello, Carol. My name is David Serpa. That's David Serpa, SERPA, and I'm running for governor here in California to give the people another option, somebody that has not just common sense, but a vision for how we could move things forward in the state of California and make things a little bit better for, working class families and for all of us. I'm a United States Marine Corps combat veteran. I'm a real estate guy. I wrote a book called Common Sense for California, a guide to the new revolution. And I'm doing everything that I can to push this grassroots, candidacy to the next level by partnering with some of the kingmakers out there that have the money and wherewithal to make some of these things happen. Because California is a very unique state. It's going to take a very unique approach for us to be successful in California.
Okay, well, thank you both. We appreciate you stepping up. This is what we need to do. And California needs it. I think just about as much as Washington State. That's just right. You have a lot of deep state uniparty rhinos, and it's time that we, the people, stand up. So thank you. So the way this is going to work is you are going to be given a question. Kim will be reading these questions. And when you hear that is your key that it's time to just wrap it up. And if you don't hear it, I'll probably do it another time. And if you don't hear that, I might have to just cut in and just let you know. But it's 90 seconds for each question. And again, this is going to go pretty quick. So we're going to start with you, ladies first, Carol. And Kim, if you could please ask the first question.
Absolutely. Okay, Carol. Homelessness is a critical issue today, with approximately 1 million people facing eviction and living on the streets. Rather than receiving support, many are arrested by law enforcement to fill empty jail cells, only to be released back to the streets without solutions. The current system fails to address this crisis effectively. Carol, what practical steps can be taken to help the homeless community rebuild their lives and transition off the streets?
Well, the first step, and this is a step that San Jose actually just decided to take, and it started last month, is when there are beds available in some of these shelters and people refuse them because they don't want to be sober, they don't want to be under anybody else's jurisdiction or authority. Now, the police actually have the authority to arrest you if you do not take shelter after 3 times of being asked to. When that happens, you're required to go through a treatment program, be evaluated, go through a whole process where they can start building your skills, analyzing you to see if you can be recovered into back into society and having a normal life. The way we've been doing it in the past through Housing First is we just keep sheltering people, but not giving them any of the treatment that they need. So you have a lot of people who are still untreated, who are going to be chronically homeless. And the problem just grows and grows. We have to get rid of the chronically homeless people that can be saved, that can be rehabilitated, and get them working back into society. And the way to do that is not by giving more freebies. It's by actually putting some accountability into the hands of the person that's homeless. And that's what we need to start doing.
Very good. Very good, Carol. Now, David, question for you. Same question. I'm going to repeat the question again. What practical steps can be taken to help the homeless community rebuild their lives and transition off the streets?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So, I actually graduated from high school homeless, and through a lot of government programs like Section 8 and private programs. I've stayed in shelters. I graduated from high school homeless and living with other families and whatnot. Now, there's a lot that can be done because it's a multifaceted approach. It's not just everyone that's struggling with housing is mentally ill and off the rocker. So that first off, we need to bring back institutions, and because that is compassion, to give people an opportunity to get rehabilitated, destigmatize the conversation around mental health with people that have actually had to struggle with mental health before, like a lot of our veterans, which struggle with mental health and post-traumatic stress, turning that into growth through treatment. And so there was a wonderful developmental center called the Sonoma Developmental Center that nothing's wrong with it. Wonderful property. It got sold out for high density housing recently. And so we have institutions, let's bring them back. We're going to need a great attorney general in order to do this, because it is going to take the legal system getting involved on behalf of people and their well-being, and understanding that some people are never going to get back into society and become a quote unquote, effective working member of society. So drug and mental health programs, focusing on creating more development so that people can have opportunities to buy in California, not have to leave California for the American dream, because freedom is financial freedom at the end of the day. And people have lost hope in this system. They've lost hope in where their taxpayer dollars are going to. And so I want to give them a plan, some great candidates, and a systemic approach to the injustice that we've been experiencing, because that's what we need to do strategically.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you, David.
All right, next question.
All right. Carol, this is back to you. Today, the public sector employs over 22.5 million government workers and includes approximately 500,000 to 520,000 elected officials, from school boards to city councils. This significant expansion has led to a bloated government that many believe is failing to serve the American people effectively. What specific measures can be implemented to streamline this overgrown government and better address the needs of the people?
I agree with you on that. I worked in Sacramento as a journalist at the Fox affiliate up there for many years. And that's when I started to first get involved in politics, because I saw the redundancy of so many of these programs that they had when I was working with different politicians and covering some of the bills and stuff that they were trying to pass. And it just seems to grow and grow and grow as people create more opportunities for more careers in government, and we're paying for it with our tax dollars, and we're already taxed, as you know, higher than anybody else in the United States. So I think that we need to be doged 100%. We need to have all of our different programs and stuff looked at to make sure they're not already involved in another program where we're just doing the same thing with different organizations over and over again. I think also we have a huge problem with nonprofits that are getting government money, government grants, stuff like that. And a lot of these nonprofits are relatives. There's a lot of corruption, we'll put it that way, and related to people who are involved in politics. There's a lot of dirty things going on like that, some intentional, some that just kind of grew out of the lack of oversight in our government all these years. And I think I hope whoever is elected, the next governor, will take a really close look at that and start to do away with some of these redundant programs that are not needed. For instance, we had one program that, sorry, okay.
Oh, you're good. It's all
Thank you,
good.
Carol.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
Carol.
Carol.
All right, David, back to you. I'm going to ask the question again. What specific measures can be implemented to streamline this overgrown government and better address the needs of the people?
Yeah, so I'm just going to kind of expand on what Carol was saying there, because that's exactly what I say: waste, fraud, abuse, and redundancy. That's the other part of it. If we're going to doge the state of California, we need to get control of the controller's office, the state controller. That's actually their job, to audit government spending, see where our money is going. And I think Jack Guerrero would make an excellent state controller, and people should be drafting him to audit the state of California and audit where all of our money is going: the PPP loans, the bridge to nowhere, the teachers union, the lottery money, the water infrastructure, et cetera, and so forth. But then you also need a great Secretary of State who's going to go after that waste, fraud, and abuse, and who's going to expose those records and then cut down on it. We should be getting government more towards operating on a blockchain, get people engaged in cutting out that redundancy. We should lead the way in government redundancy, and we should do it in the state that has always led the way in technology and innovation.
All
Very
right,
good.
right at the 92nd. Good job. All right, well, let's get to the next question. Question
All
number
right.
3.
Okay, excellent. Carol, the
Yes.
General Education Board, established by John D. Rockefeller in 1902, offered funding to small schools and churches for new educational programs, contingent on adopting its prescribed curriculum. Recently, concerns have risen that public schools are indoctrinating students, causing confusion about their identity and sense of self. What specific actions can be taken to eliminate this indoctrination from the public school system and ensure an education that equips our children for the real world?
Well, number one, you have to start with the unions, because the teachers union is one of the most powerful unions in California. They use the politicians to do their bidding. It's all the public school system right now is in a turmoil because parents have finally figured out what's going on. We have parents who've been going to school board meetings, listening in, going to the libraries, looking at the books and seeing what their kids are really being taught, and it's appalling. But we have constant bills being passed regarding school. Today, even in the assembly, they're discussing a bill that is going to force schools to teach transgender and gender ideology curriculum. And all this stuff, the only way to stop it really and to block all these bills is to break the supermajority in California and to really get some Republicans elected. 8 seats is what we need to be able to block some of these really bad bills that they have. I also think that I believe 100% in school choice. People are going to be angry about that up here because I'm a real estate broker. The real estate prices are totally dependent on the quality of the schools. You can go from one district where a shack is $2 million because of that school district as compared to another area. So if people are not going to be buying their home because of going to that school and you have school choice, a lot of people who paid a lot to live in certain neighborhoods to go to certain schools are probably going to be up in arms. But I still think that it's much better to have parents be able to choose what school they want their kids to go to, whether it be charter schools, private schools, or anything else. And that's probably one of the big issues up here in Silicon Valley right now too.
Very good. Very good. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
David.
Gosh, Carol, you and I are definitely linked up here. So I heard the question. We need a great superintendent of public instruction to go and take control of the schools, the education system. But what we need to do is we need to decentralize it. Right now, the teachers unions control over 50% of our state's budget. One out of every $2 spent in the state of California goes towards the teachers unions and their schools and failure factories. And so if we had the best schools, the best paid teachers, the best educated children, I don't think that people would have a problem with that, but we don't. And so we need to have a little bit of innovation. And innovation does not exist inside of a monopoly. And so by voucherizing the education system through what I call the Golden State School Choice Voucher, it would give parents the same opportunity that veterans get when they use their post 9/11 GI Bill, which was thought up by Milton Friedman, because it gives people an opportunity to decide how they want to be educated, whether that's private, public, charter, or homeschool. And then they could spend their tax dollars where they want it to go to. And then I would expand on that program and make it the Golden State School Choice and Child Care Voucher.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. You hit the 90s. You were doing really good on that. Are you timing yourself?
I'm paying attention
Very good,
to the timing
David.
of the screen.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, so that was good. And we are on now to the next question.
All right, Carol, we're now finding out that our skies, water, and food supply are full of poisons in the midst of fake climate change crisis. What will your role be in the cleanup of our world to ensure our grandchildren have healthy food and clean water to drink?
Well, I think that this climate change ideology is nearing towards the end. People are starting to figure out that if everything we were told was true, we wouldn't be here right now. Weren't we supposed to be gone a long time ago, according to their climate predictions? So I think that also everybody wants the same thing. Everybody wants clean air. Everybody wants clean water. And we can work towards that by balancing that with the needs of human beings existing in the world. You can't go so far into the climate agenda that you sacrifice the quality of living for everyone, like they're doing here in California right now, where they're trying to take away our gas stoves. They're trying to take away our gas furnaces. They're making it impossible for humans to coexist with their climate ideology. And I believe that the earth was created for us to dwell in and to live in. God created the earth for the people, not the other way around. So they just need to flip their thinking a little bit, I think. But whether that's going to happen in California, I know we're so liberal. Everybody is talking about climate change and what we're doing to the earth and everything as if it's 100% true, with not even giving it the possibility or the idea that, wait a second, let's take a step back and look at this and try to have a balance to it here in California.
Thank you, Carol. David, what will your role be to clean up the world to ensure our grandchildren have healthy food and clean water to drink?
Sure. Water is an abundant resource. And so and energy is abundant. And so we should be investing in both of those things because they yield dividends. Just like the state parks, we spend $1 billion a year on the California state parks, and we get $7 billion in return for that investment. And so it's, as the party of outdoorsmanship, as the party of water and agriculture and the middle class, we should be invested in creating a better earth for our children. And part of that is returning to small and mid-sized farms. That originally was what the USDA loan was established for, was making it so that small farmers, mid-sized farmers, family farms can feed the world again, because that's the agriculture that used to feed the world, was our small to mid-sized farmers. This is a tale as old as time. In fact, Thomas Paine wrote about it in Agrarian Justice. But we need to bring back the family farms. We need to feed the world again. We need to entertain the world again. We need to lead the world in technology and innovation again. We need to understand that in order to do all of these things, we need to treat water and energy like they're abundant resources by investing in micro nuclear grids that will keep us powered well into the future, and desalination plants, which we can line the coast with. And in addition to properly utilizing the 5 trillion gallons of water which flows through Northern California every year.
Excellent. Thank you, David.
But I would say to that, what about the smelt, David?
Yeah,
What about
so
smell?
like you,
Oh my
Carol,
gosh.
I believe that, the kingdom of heaven is at hand, and so we should be shaping it. And so, whether we are moving water, moving mountains, creating new water infrastructure, creating cities in the desert, this is child's play. Our children, play Minecraft and they build the worlds around them. And we have the ability to do the same thing, but in real life. But we treat water and oil and energy like they're scarcities, so that we could capitalize on them instead of banking on abundance for the people.
And
But
then
thank
we
you,
let
Carol. I
something
realize
like
I was
the smelt
tongue-in-cheek.
cause us to destroy our entire agricultural system here, because we won't give any water to any of the farmers. If you drive down Highway 5 from up here down to LA, it's just vacant. A lot of it is,
And it's an
completely
excuse.
unused.
Yeah.
It's an
that's-
excuse. The Resnicks
They have
bought
that
up a
here
lot of the
too.
water use in Kern County, 250 billion gallons of water every year that was developed with public infrastructure. And so the thing is, it is all by design. We were
agree,
told that we were going to fight wars over oil in the past, and that in the future we will be fighting wars over water. I just refuse to play that game.
Okay.
Very
Well,
good.
awesome.
Very
Well,
good.
guess what? We have one more question left, and then we are wrapping this up. And it's been going really good. Thank you both for your answers so far.
It's been a pleasure. It's been wonderful listening to Carol's answers as well.
Come
Yes.
on. All right, Carol and David. With election fraud taking place all over the country, what are you going to do to protect your election against the fraud? Carol, we'll begin with you.
Yeah, that's very interesting that you would ask about that, because I was just talking to one of my friends who works for United Sovereign Americans this morning, and she gave me some pretty shocking statistics, like 9.5 million voter registration violations with omissions, errors, everything else, 77,000 more votes than there were voters in the last election, and they just keep certifying them. It's like they're way past the error rate. I think we need to, that's the first key to all of this, to winning, is to take back our elections. But of course, we can't do that till we break the supermajority, and hopefully we'll be able to do that in 2026. I would love to go back to the old-fashioned way of having one day where everybody votes on that one day, make it a legal holiday. Everybody uses paper ballots and goes to their local precincts. They don't do things precinct by precinct anymore. And that's why it's gotten so complicated up here in the Bay Area when you're trying to vote. So if everybody went to their local precincts and that precinct counted the paper ballot at that night, we'd have the results the same night like everybody else, instead of 2 months later, like we're doing here in California. So there's a lot of cleanup that needs to be done. Another huge problem I fought against over in the last month is ranked choice voting. There's lobbyist groups introducing it to every city. They almost passed it in Santa Clara County, where the whole county would have had ranked choice voting. We went and protested against it, and they shelved it for now, but it's coming back because there's a lot of money behind it. So there's a lot of work to be done on our elections.
Yes, Carol. Very good. And David, back to you. Let's finish it out with, what are you going to do to protect your election from election fraud?
So one of the most important things that we could do is focus on a great Secretary of State candidate that is going to blend the integrity of the past with the technology of the future. And so I agree, same day voting and whatnot, but I don't agree with paper ballots. I feel like in a lot of ways, we as Republicans are advocates for moving into the past with, why not stone ballots and, rock carvings and smoke signals. So I just feel like let's move forward. Let's get it on a blockchain, which is unhackable, and have our votes being tallied the same way that we tally the stock market. What is good enough for our money should be good enough for our votes. And we could certainly do that, have all of our votes tallied in one day, have everybody do it online. And then that way we could bring back instant response to voting. And it's unhackable. Once you voted in the blockchain, it's diversified and it's out there. And so, again, I want to go back to backing a solid Secretary of State candidate that is going to bring integrity back to our election systems, transparency back into our election system, bring the integrity of the past into the future, and get it on a blockchain. And I believe that that candidate is Chris Bish, but she needs to be talked out of running for Congress and being, 535 members of Congress. I want her to help me clean up Sacramento and get to work, where we need her, which is in Sacramento, be one of one Secretary of State. We have a lot of really great people like Carol that are, pushing that fight and will carry that flag in DC. But we need some people to stay home in California. And I think, Chris Bish, I need her in Sacramento. Whether you want to elect me as governor or not, let's draft Chris Bish and have her run for Secretary of State.
Nice plug for Chris. And see, in other words, you don't want Chris to be a Bish for Congress, but to be a Bish for Secretary of State.
That's right.
I want her to be
Is that what it is?
HBIC, the head Bish in charge, or maybe the HBIS, the head Bish in Sacramento, because the Secretary of State's office is in many ways more important and more powerful than the governor's office. That's what we need to get control of. I mean, did you know that in California, you can't even identify as a veteran on the ballot with one of your 3 ballot designations? I think that's crazy talk. I think in a state with 1.8 million veterans, if we just addressed that and we started running a lot of veteran candidates, people are going to vote for veterans. People like veterans, they trust them.
Do.
One thing that I would like, if we have a little bit of extra time to hear your take on, David, is what are we going to do about the insurance crisis here in California right now?
Well, before you get started on that, wait, hold on. I'm going to definitely give you a time to give your last words. And so go ahead and answer that, though, for her. And then we're going to wrap it up after that.
Well, this has been wonderful because I got an opportunity to talk about a superintendent of public instruction. I got an opportunity to talk about the state controller and the Secretary of State office. But, what are we going to do when it comes to insurance is we need a great insurance commissioner. Right now we have Ricardo Lara, who has been a total fraud and has been absent on the job and misallocating funds while people who have lost everything, 15,000 homes, businesses, churches burnt to the ground. And so I think we need to find a great insurance commissioner. And I'm also a big fan of developing some of that 48 million acres in the state of California in order to pay for some of the people that got stuck with the FAIR plan. And real estate yields dividends at the end of the day. And we should be developing real estate to sell, build 5 new cities on 300,000 acres, 60,000 acres apiece, 200,000 homes in each city, 1 million new homes. And you use that as an opportunity to bankroll some of these 15,000 structures that are currently being neglected and are not being rebuilt in a timely manner.
Are you saying 1 million acres? I thought we had a population problem.
Yeah, it's interesting, 48 million acres, and people don't realize how big that is. So if we built 5 new cities the size of Sacramento, 60,000 acres apiece, that would take 300,000 acres. Well, holy smokes, we would still have 47,700,000 public acres available. And so there's a lot. We should also be building new state parks. When's the last time that we built a new state park? People want to see California. They want to experience California. They want to travel from all over the world to come here. And it attracts a net positive of $7 billion annually by investing in our state parks. So let's build a little bit. When's the last time that we built beautiful things? And that's what I want to do with my governorship in Sacramento.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you. We need to spread out. That's for sure.
That's right.
Carol, I'm going to let you
make sure we get the water flowing and the electricity flowing, though, if we're going to build. And that's the problem. Our infrastructure is completely dilapidated. So.
Absolutely.
Well, that's because they've not been spending the money on what they're supposed to be spending it on. They've been pocketing it. And we're figuring it out.
That's right. It's time for we the people to take our power back.
100%.
That's right. Take your power back. And so, Carol, go ahead and finish off give us
Well,
your
it was a
last
pleasure
message.
meeting all of you, and I'm really, really excited about 2026. I feel it in the air everywhere I go, everyone I talk to. People are tired of what's going on. People are sick of what the politicians are doing. We're tired of one-party rule. We want to break the supermajority in 2026. So whoever is elected governor, if we do get a Republican governor, they at least have that on their side where everything they veto can't be overturned. So that's the most important thing we can do. We're 8 seats away. We're 3 seats away from breaking the supermajority in the Senate. And that really that's my goal, is to be part of that, because it's going to be a historic thing where the people are actually able to stop these crazy radical policies from being implemented on all of us. So I'm really excited about it, and I'm looking forward to seeing who else is going to run. We need good candidates to run. Right now, everybody's like, forget it. It's too hard. There's no way. I can't get the money. I can't get the funding. It's a lot of work. You have to be passionate about it. You have to have fire in the belly if you're going to win. But I think if we can get enough people who do, we can take the state back in 2026. And I'm hoping that people get on board with that.
All right. And you go ahead, David.
Yeah, I appreciate the question. The thing is we need to look to the past to understand that one man cannot save us. It's not going to take one man going into Sacramento to save all of us in the state of California. And I think that we experienced that when we had Arnold Schwarzenegger, who I think at the end of the day was well-intentioned. Spent $5 million of his own money to try to get 3 ballot initiatives passed, which didn't pass. And so we need to understand it's going to take the entire executive branch, the governor, the lieutenant governor, the treasurer, the state controller, the superintendent of public instruction, the insurance commissioner, et cetera, in order to get in control of government. In addition, the Senate and the Assembly. And so I don't want to have a lame duck governorship. I absolutely agree with Carol. People need to run for office. You are the answer that we've been waiting for. If you watch this and you tune out, then we lose. If we looked at the history books, we could see that Karl Rove and George Bush, for all of their faults, flipped the state of California, or flipped the state of Texas in one election cycle in 1994. They focused on 25 Senate and Assembly seats, plus the executive branch. They flipped 23 of those 25 seats in one election cycle, and the state of Texas, which was a deeply blue state for 180 years, has been red ever since. We can do the same thing in California, but it's going to take all of us approaching this system from all of the different sides and angles in the executive, the Senate, the Assembly, and of course, it wouldn't be bad to flip some congressional seats as well.
Okay, great. Well, hey, thank you very much. Stick around, guys. I want to talk to you afterwards, but I just want to thank everyone for being a part of the show. Kim, thank you for being
An honor, Kat. Anytime. I'd love to be a part of your show. I love what you're doing, and what amazing candidates. This is a great show.
We had no technical difficulties.
That's a victory.
This is the first show we have had no technical difficulties. So hopefully the first of many. And I just want to thank everyone. And also, this show is sponsored by Crosscheck USA, a parallel voting system that will cross-check the reported totals. So if there's any philandering going on by our deep state government, which there will be, you will be able to have actual votes that were what the people had chosen under penalty of perjury, attesting to the fact that they voted for you. So it doesn't replace the actual vote, but it's a third-party verification, and truth welcomes verification. So if you have not registered, it's free to, as a voter, register with Crosscheck USA. Tell your campaign, or whoever your favorite candidate is, to contact me, and I will get them set up, because it's like an insurance policy for your campaign. Win with proof. That's what I have to say here. And so anyways, again, Kim, thank you so much. I appreciate you and love you with all my heart. And we're taking it to the deep state. And we're going to be, from this point forward until the 2026 election,
That's right.
We're going to be cross-checking the candidates.
Let's go.
Making sure that we don't have any rhinos. That, if you hear something you don't like, or you hear something you love, then you know who to vote for. All right. So thank you again. God bless you all. This is Kat Espinda, And we've got Kim Yeater with Take Your Power Back Show.